A big discussion in the Valorant community right now is the fact that the map pool right now is pretty weak. Many people are unhappy with the maps that are in the competitive rotation right now. There are some old maps missing, such as Haven, which fans do really miss and want back. There are some maps that maybe have stayed around for too long. So today I thought it'd be fun for me to do a video talking about what I think would be the perfect map pool in Valorant. This of course is all just my opinion, but the rules we're going to be going off of right now is we are banning at least 3 maps from the rotation because that is the amount that Riot has right now. So we're going to be going through each map in order of when they were released, so we start with the beta maps. So the map that we're going to be starting with is Bind, one of the 3 maps that was in beta. So Bind has been in the map rotation for quite some time now. It did not make it in the 6.0 patch, but it has been in the map rotation ever since. And in terms of just how I feel about this map, I think it's overall pretty good. It is a bit boring. It definitely can be a bit of a drag to get this map a lot of times in a row, but it's really not a map that you find a lot of just difficulty on. In terms of defense side, I think it's pretty good. As defender, you have a lot of options for this A site. You can watch either over here, maybe you have a cipher, you put a camera there or over there, and then you can see down here. Whereas attackers can do a pretty good job getting onto site from here, maybe having a person flanking over on showers, so you can do that as well, and you do have some pretty good options on attack. And yeah, there definitely are some tough sightlines over here. This definitely is a defender-sided map, but I do think that it is overall pretty good for both parties, at least on this A site. This map does have a gimmick though. We do have the teleporters, which do get you over here going to hookah, and then of course there is the one that goes to A site over here from B-Lon, and boom, you're on the other side of the map. And for this B site, definitely easier for defenders in my opinion than the A site. You definitely have a bit more of a choke points with hookah and B-Lon over here, so definitely Peeker's advantage when it comes to this site. Elbow's pretty nice too. You do have a good little kind of place to kind of hide, and you know, if you're on post plant, you can kind of hide here, and you can look at people coming from over here. You can maybe go over here, and then you can peek hookah. So I think one of the main things that I like personally in maps is options. I might be in the minority here, but I definitely love it when maps have a lot of options for both sides of attack and defense. When you're on a site and defending, you have plenty of options for, you know, holding angles or, you know, holding the specific spot while you're not just completely in the advantage. And I do think Bind overall does a pretty good job at this. I don't think it's my favorite map. I don't think it's a perfect map by any means. It could definitely, as I said, be a bit boring, but overall, I think this is a pretty solid map. We're going to keep it. Moving on to the next map that has been in the game since beta, we have Split. So Split's been around for quite some time, since the inception of this game. I'm pretty sure my very first game of Valorant was played on this map when Middle was completely different. This part wasn't just an open platform. There was actually a giant wall here, and it was just these stairs, making for the most annoying choke point ever. You could literally just like stand right here and just boom, anybody going over there is just done. Split is definitely yet another defender-sided maps. That's kind of my problem with a lot of maps in this game, actually, is that a lot of the maps are designed to be defended on. Split's definitely one of them. And overall, I don't mind defending here. You know, if you're Cypher, you know, I usually put trap right here, trip up here, then there's also a one-way that you can do. So there definitely is a pretty good amount of options for defenders, but pushing through this B entrance is quite difficult. You basically just need some good flashes and some good util to get out into this area, and then you're kind of just out in the open for a good couple steps until you get over here, and then you try to get a plant down, and you still got to worry about heaven. But you can at least hide here and get a pretty easy plant once you're on site. And of course there is a site as well, which I do think is maybe a little bit easier for attackers to get on. I definitely have less trouble on A as an attacker than I do on B. I'm seeing a lot of pro players doing this thing where they hide behind here and then wait for the other team to get onto site. So that's actually a really good idea as well. I saw Sentinels do that quite a bit against Loud. But yeah, overall, I don't see a huge problem with Split. I used to really not like this map because I didn't really like the defender side of maps, but I definitely have gotten used to it, and I do actually enjoy it quite a bit. There's also some incredible VCT matches that happen on this map all the time, so we are going to keep Split. Moving on to a map that people really miss right now, and that is Haven. Haven, being the third and final map that has been in the game since beta, is a map that a lot of people really miss right now, and that is especially for its 3-site design. This is one of the biggest maps in the game. You have a lot of different options for both defense defenders and attackers, and it's definitely more of an attacker-sided map because you have a lot of options. Pushing on to A, you can either go through here down lawn, and then you'll be in view of heaven, which can be a bit annoying, but mostly I like to go down here to, I guess this is called Sewer. I forget what this is called. I haven't played on Haven in a while. My main gripe with this map is definitely the B site. I don't love this just big blocky platform right in the middle, and then planting can be a bit annoying because you just have to like choose one of these tiny little corridors, and then basically each retake just becomes like a rain around the rosy. You're like, oh, is he over here? Oh no. Oh, how about over here? And then you just kind of go in circles until someone eventually, and then eventually the attacker's just hiding here, and then you just boom, peeks and you're dead. I do, however, like Garage here. I like this little spot. You can kind of get out here when you're defending. You can kind of get a good view of what's going on. It's also a pretty good way to get to the C site, which I do think is a pretty strong site as well. This is definitely where oppers like to go on this map. You can have an op just be here chilling out, just boom, pop your enemies right then and there. But overall, I definitely do really miss this map. This is a fun map to play on. I like its 3-site design. It's more unique than any other map in the game, at least at release. There has been another 3-site map, which we'll get to eventually, but I would say Haven should be in the map pool. So if I was deciding on the map pool, we are bringing it back. Moving on to the first post-beta map in the game, we have Ascent. So I used to really like Ascent, but I am definitely tired of seeing this map in the map pool. Overall, I just find it boring, and it is definitely one of the more one-sided, defender-sided maps, I would say. It's just such a pain pushing onto A, in my opinion. You only have this option, and then you can go through mid as well, but you just have this little, and then there's usually a person peeking you right here, and then someone can also just be hiding here and ruin your day because you're not going to check that because a lot of times people aren't there. But overall, you just have to do this long walk from here to here, and then, oh, someone in heaven, of course, and you get peeked, and then, of course, Sage Wall or Jet Smoke, any number of utility, and then you're just blocked off, have to wait like 30 seconds for something to happen, and then you push on a site, and then you die. So unless you're having really good util play, which in ranked you're probably not going to get it, especially in the lower levels, it is definitely a very annoying site in my opinion. Mid, in my opinion, is okay. I mean, if you're pushing onto here, you're usually gonna, be watching over here, hoping that someone isn't opping, and you also have to worry about people here as well, trying to peek you from there. So it isn't a terrible kind of situation on mid for either side. And then we get to B side, which I absolutely despise right now. It's just so annoying because usually there'll be some sort of util that gets the info that your team is right here, and then there could be someone peeking you there, there could be someone peeking you there, there could be a guy here, there could be a guy here or here. So you just have a lot of things to check before you can actually get on site comfortable. That doesn't even mention here. Or if there's a guy back site, and then as soon as you get a plant down, it is actually pretty easy to defend, at least just overall in my opinion. You have two ways that the defenders can come and try to attack you, but overall you just kind of wait back here and backside and just boom, boom, pop them, and then even just play for time. Overall, I think Ascent, I don't think it's a bad map or anything, but I do think that for now, Ascent needs a break. We're taking it out of the map rotation for my perfect map pool. And now we move on to one of the more controversial maps in the game, and that is Icebox. And it has gone through many different changes. This A site did not used to be like this. We used to see this area be quite a bit different. This ramp used to be a lot higher, and it used to just be a drop down instead of this little ramp. So definitely glad they added that, because just having that loud drop down was very annoying. Getting onto site is definitely a pain. You have this option through this little choke point, and this can be very annoying to get onto. It's just this tiny little hallway that you gotta get through, and there could be a guy here, here, back site. It could be guy opping, and there also is this little corner to worry about. So it can definitely be a pain, but honestly, it's not too hard to clear out here with a molly or some other piece of util. You could throw a KO knife and, get info for people that are over here. So you do overall have options, and I don't mind the zip line here. I actually like the zip lines on this map. I do think they add a cool little piece of gimmicky thing to this map. There are maps that have certain gimmicks, and this map is one of them. Usually people plant here, but you can also plant up top. This is a good spot as well. And then, of course, on the retake, you kind of just have two little choke points in here and here to get back into, unless you're doing a very long flank. Mid has seen a lot of changes. This window did not used to be here, and a lot of people do not like it. It does add a little bit to the kind of boring just push up of two. Now you kind of got to worry about, being found out by people here, but this can definitely be annoying because there can be turrets over there, and then you've just completely ruined your flank. This part part has seen a lot of changes. This kind of whole area used to be able to go through here to get onto the site just like that, but you know, with no crate. But it's not like attackers have a terribly low amount of options either. You know, you can kind of push through here. You can push right through this door as well, and then you kind of got a wide range right here. Or you can go through mid, and you can either go up tube or go past here. But this is usually a death trap. I always die when I go over here, because then I go over here, here, and here. So Icebox is definitely one of those maps that a lot of people don't like for many different reasons. But personally, I don't have too big of a problem with it. I know, controversial statement. This map is big, it is pretty clunky, there are definitely problems with it, but overall, I don't think it's a terrible map. I do think there is some value to it. I don't mind the ropes, and I think A site probably needs a bit of fixing. I think B site right now, you can maybe just keep it as it is, but A site is just kind of annoying on both sides. But overall, I'm keeping it in the map pool. That might be the most controversial part of this video though. Moving on to yet another controversial map, we have Breeze. Breeze at the time of release was Valorant's biggest map. It's kind of funny actually, because they put Icebox into the game. Everybody hated it, especially because of its size. And then they decided to add another map that is quite large. And everyone has hated this map for quite some time, and I do understand why. Honestly, I used to be a huge Breeze defender. I did like how big it was. I liked how open it was, but honestly, since the changes, I really haven't felt the same way about this map. I actually think this B site is really fantastic. I think as defenders, you have a good amount of options of where to defend and where to set up your util. While it is definitely a pain getting from here to here, because you walk out and you're like, where do I look? You have so many different areas you have to be covering to be able to just get to this little corridor. And overall, I think this wall placement's pretty good. I think this big tower in the middle, which seems to be a common theme on maps for some reason, just having a big block in the middle. It's not too big, and I don't hate that about it. I really don't see the problem with B side right now. I think it's pretty good. Mid, however, is a bit of a different story. So it used to be you could come out here, and this was not as, this kind of area was a bit more open. You can go through here, but now they have this little kind of like step thing, and then you can see there, and you can also drop down and, you know, hope no one's over here. And it could definitely be a bit annoying, because if you're just trying to get up here, you go this, and then you jump, oh, you're dead, and then it's just, the round's over for you. I think attacking from this site now is very bad. I didn't mind when they had this area open and you kind of have, you know, one long approach, then one short approach. But now it's just this kind of one really small choke point, and it's just really annoying for attackers. So they definitely made some changes to this map that are more on the side of helping the defenders, which I understand them doing, but I don't know. I kind of like when we have a variety of maps that are both defender-sided and attacker-sided, and I just don't know if this map is fully balanced. While I do like maps that have a lot of options, Breeze might have too many options. It's just so much to worry about in such an open space that it is really hard to do much of anything when you're trying to retake. You're just out in the open, you have so many different angles to worry about, and then there's just some guy here, and then you're just dead. So while I have been a fan of Breeze in the past, I do agree with people that this map does have a lot of flaws, and I think we should take a break from Breeze, so Breeze is the second map ban. Moving on to a map that is currently out of the map pool, we're talking about Fracture. Fracture is one of the more unique maps in the game. It has this kind of long zip line in the middle here, so it doesn't really have a mid aside from the defender spawn. So you have these zip lines that are just super long kind of way to get across the map, and I do think that it's a fun little idea. It's a good way to get all the way across to the other side, and then you can kind of, you know, help your teammates from different angles. Attacking B site is a bit interesting, so you have this kind of spawn where you can kind of see up these stairs, and then there might be people here looking at you with an op, so you got to be careful about that. You can go up ropes and go up here, and then you kind of have this little heaven spot, which can be a good way to push onto it. Pushing from B main is definitely annoying in my opinion, because it's just this tight little choke point, and then, you know, you're just kind of out in the open here, but it's not like the options are too overwhelming. And this A site I think is a bit flawed, but overall pretty good. You can plant either at hell here, or you can plant on heaven, so a lot of people would plant like right here. And then of course there's dish, which I do think is a lot better than it used to be, because you used to be able to go through both sides of dish, which was very annoying just on either side in my opinion, because you were just kind of screwed if you were walking up here or even defending from here, because it's a 50-50 chance wherever the person that is waiting for you on the other side is peeking. Getting onto site from dish can be a bit of a pain because you have a lot to worry about, but overall I think it's a decent site for this map. So overall, I do think Fracture is a very solid map. It is one of the more unique maps. I'm not a huge fan of maps that have super tight corridors, and Fracture is one of them, but it is unique enough that I do think that my problem with the kind of tightness of it is offsetted by the fact that it is pretty unique and it is pretty fun to play on. So we are bringing Fracture back for the perfect Valorant map pool. Moving on to the next map, we have another map that is not in rotation right now, and that is Pearl. I do think that overall this map is good, but it definitely has some problems. A site, I think, is overall okay. Pushing from here is a bit of a drag because, again, another just tight corridor, and then you're probably just facing an op or someone here, and then there's also a corner. So, but again, it isn't anything that's too hard to clear out with some good util. Plus, you can also come through mid and get out over here, and then you have pretty good options with there, or you can kind of do a little bit of a dipsy doodle over to here, then you can go there to flank onto B, or you can try to, you know, maybe catch your enemies trying to rotate. I don't mind mid overall. It is definitely a large open space, but it's not too large that I think it's too annoying once you're in it. B link isn't too bad either. I believe they made it bigger at one point. I'm pretty sure it was smaller. But B site is really bad. So B site is definitely the main problem with this map in my eyes. First of all, I hate attacking from this area. It is so frustrating to just have this super long corridor. I don't have a huge problem with, you know, some long hallways being in maps. I mean, you have to have more open spaces. You have to have some, you know, places that are advantageous for defenders and for people with the operator. But this area is just so long. You just go on a hike just to get to the site, and then there's just some dude with an op right there, and then you're on site, and then, oh, you have so many different things to worry about, and it's just really annoying. One thing that Sliggy has talked about in the past about this site as well is that once you do get a plant on, as annoying as it is in my opinion, it is pretty much over. You can just kind of hold different little angles and put up some util, put up a sage wall or anything, and then you pretty much just win. It is pretty hard to retake on this site. So it's hard to attack on, and then it's an easy post plant, and then it's kind of easy to defend on, but it's a hard retake. So this is a weird site. It's a weird map. I think if they fix up B, if they make this shorter, maybe have link work differently, maybe have a different option for getting onto B, this map can be a really good map. I think it has potential. It just has some things that it definitely needs to change, but assuming everything is fixed, we are putting Pearl back into the map pool, returning to the rotation. Moving on to the second 3-site map in the game, we have Lotus. So I don't know if this is controversial or not, but it kind of feels like it is. Am I the only one in the community that absolutely despises this map? I just have problems with every single part of this map. First of all, defending on it, it's not the hardest thing. You have this long area that you can defend with an op or a rifle. You also have a door, and can I just say that I hate these doors more than anything? They are so loud, they take forever to open. They usually just give you away, and they usually don't help the person that's opening it. I don't mind the door gimmicks as much in the other maps like Ascent or Breeze, but this one I really don't like it. And now they added this little corridor. This wasn't here before, I'm pretty sure, which I just find so obnoxious. Why did you do this? Why did you add this? You get out of the door if you're successful enough to do it. You're worried about someone peeking there, and then you just don't check this tiny little corridor, then boom, you're dead, and your day is ruined. The round is over. But overall, it's just a super small site. I feel so claustrophobic here all the time. Shooting from here is, I guess, okay. You can go in here. That's a nice little option, but overall, I don't see the enjoyment in this site. And pushing onto it from attacker side is such a pain. You have such a long hike just to get to the site. Try to go around here. You're looking for a little bit of a flank, and then, oh, person there, someone waiting at door or waiting over here. You're just so out in the open. It just feels like you're just gonna get shot at any second. I personally don't see the enjoyment in this site, and I don't like B either. Again, we just have another really small site. The plant area is really small. You usually plant here. Some people plant over here. I don't mind it for defenders. It's not super hard, but it's not super easy to defend either. If you're up here, you only have a sight line here, and then getting out here kind of gives you, a bit more options, but you still are quite out in the open. I don't really like pushing onto it either. You either have to go through that door, go through this door, or you can kind of come through here, which, usually someone's watching. Moving on to C, yet again, similar problems. You have a long way to go to get close to the entrance of it. And I do think C site is probably the best out of the 3 sites on this map, and it does have a pretty large plant area. So post plant can actually be pretty good on this site, and then you can maybe go up here and, probably try to get a flank on someone. As a defender on this map, you probably have to do a lot of flanking, which can be fun. I do like flanking and, you know, just trying to get behind the enemy. But when it feels like the only viable option a lot of the time as a defender, it gets really stale. In my opinion, Lotus is just a bigger Haven, and I really would rather just have Haven. If we're going to have one 3-site map in the rotation, I think we should just go with Haven. So for my personal Valorant perfect map pool, I know people are probably going to disagree with me on this one, but I'm taking Lotus out. We're banning it. So moving on to the final and most recent map in Valorant, we have Sunset. So I've already banned 3 maps in my map pool, so you guys already know which maps I'm banning and keeping. So we are keeping Sunset, but you know, we still have to talk about, we're talking about every map. And personally, I love this map. I think this is definitely the best new map that Valorant has released. Every time a new map comes out, a lot of people end up just really hating it. Pearl got a lot of flack, Breeze got a lot of flack, Icebox got a lot of flack. It just seems like every new release, while it is to varying degrees depending on the map, everyone seems to just really hate that map after a couple months. But generally, I think the consensus on Sunset is that it's a really good map and it is pretty balanced. As a defender on this A site, you have a pretty good amount of options without feeling too advantageous. You can watch here, and as Gecko, you can, you know, throw your Dizzy up there, or, you know, you can throw a Molly, put it over there, any variety of options. Watching over here isn't too bad, and as an attacker, when you're pushing this, you only have 2 little annoying corners to deal with before you have a pretty good control and view of sight. Moving on to mid, I really like what they've done here. It's not a huge rotation onto either site from mid. It doesn't feel too small or too big, and you do have quite a bit of options when you're here. As an attacker, you mainly just have to worry about people over here, and as a defender, you can have a pretty good view on here, but you also got to worry about this, because it's pretty easy to sneak up and get a pick from a person that's there, or, you know, be watching over there. Moving on to B, I think this area is pretty good as well, especially for post plant. And just like many maps, there's this big building in the middle. It is pretty large. I think I do like A site better than B site, but I do think that it's overall, it's not too hard to attack and it's not too easy to defend. My main gripe with this map, I think, is this area. It just feels really annoying and feels like the defenders can get over here quicker than you can be able to see them, or they're waiting in this corner. That can happen too. And then kind of doing this little peek can be a bit annoying, but again, if you're defending well, if you know that the Cypher has a trip here or anything, you can get onto site with some pretty good util usage. So overall, I think Sunset, I think it's the best map that has been released since beta. I don't know if that's a controversial statement, but I absolutely would keep this in my perfect Valorant map pool. So there you have it. That is my idea of what would be a perfect Valorant map pool. Let me know what you guys thought about my choices in the comment section down below. I'm sure some people are going to disagree with some of my choices, but hey, that's the fun of it. Obviously, I know that it is an opinion-based thing, but I just thought it'd be a fun video to make, so I hope you guys have fun watching it. Put in the comments down below what you guys think would be the perfect Valorant map pool. Again, stick with that 3 ban rule. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Please click like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!